راية سويداء الآن حرة أبية شامخة عادت للسنة.
What is unfolding in Suwayda is not merely a tribal conflict. This is not a fleeting dispute between neighbors. What we are witnessing today is a new, bloody chapter in the systematic redrawing of Syria's demographic and cultural map. This is a story of a grand bargain struck behind the scenes, a story of betrayal, deceit, and of a people facing their destiny with dignity.
Suwayda, or Jabal al-Druze, the mountain of the Druze, is the historic homeland of the Muwahidun Druze, a community whose history stretches back centuries, renowned for its deep national identity and connection to the land. The conflict that began between some Bedouin and Druze groups was not the first of its kind. It is part of the region's dynamics, but this time it was used as a pretext for something far larger.
The real threads of this story were woven far from Suwayda. In Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, a meeting took place between Ahmed al-Shara, the leader of Syria's new government, and Israeli officials. A deal appears to have been struck. Israel, which had always publicly claimed it would protect the Druze, would lift its security cover from Suwayda. The price? Another step toward normalizing al-Shara's relations with Israel, joining the Abraham Accords. And we must not forget the proposed gas pipeline from Tel Aviv to Syria, all with an American blessing.
The political groundwork for this has been in the works since President Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia. The U.S. administration worked to whitewash al-Shara's image and remove him from terrorist lists. It is now moving to freeze sanctions on Syria, all with Saudi mediation. The Gulf does not want Syria to fall into Turkey's orbit after leaving Iran's. Another layer in the regional and international power struggle over Syria.
Once the political and military cover was lifted, a general call to arms, a faza, was issued. But who are these assailants? They are not mere local clans. They are a coalition of jihadist factions, previously designated as terrorist groups, Chechen, Uyghur, and other foreign fighters, along with tribes brought in from Idlib, Deir ez-Zor, and Raqqa. An army of extremists was unleashed on Suwayda, aided by a local collaborator, Laith al-Balus, once an agent for the former regime, now a tool of the new authority.
At first, Druze elders like Sheikh al-Hijri sought to prevent bloodshed by accepting the entry of internal security forces. But once the brutality of the invaders became clear, and after Sheikh al-Hijr claimed his public statement had been forced by regime security, the people of Suwayda rose up. People of dignity and honor defended their land and their identity, and they began to push the invaders back.
The assault was savage. This was not a military operation, but a barbaric invasion. They entered with sectarian hatred, assaulting civilians, the elderly, the young, women, children. They burned the mustaches of elderly men in a deliberate act of humiliation. They looted homes, shops, stealing everything within reach. This is not just warfare. This is a culture of conquest and humiliation. Just as they forced victims to bark like dogs in the Alawite massacres on the coast, they now cut the mustaches of elders in Suwayda. They even composed a song to mock these violations.
And what of Israel? Yes, they struck the Syrian tanks, but do not be deceived. This was not to protect the Druze. It was for two reasons. First, to block the presence of heavy weaponry on its border. Second, to appease the Druze community inside Israel, who were attempting to storm that very border. A tactical strike to absorb anger, not a strategic intervention to protect a supposed ally.
What happened in Suwayda is not new. It is part of a pattern of cleansing. They began with the Alawites on the coast, then the Christians. Today, it's the Druze. Al-Shara's violations against minorities were overlooked before, and it seems they will be again. The next battle? It will be against the Kurds, against the Syrian democratic forces, to destroy what remains of pluralism in Syria. Just like al-Jolani in Idlib, who dismantled the revolution faction by faction until he alone remained.
The fall of Suwayda, if it happens, will not only be the fall of a city, it will be the fall of the very idea of a pluralistic Syria. What is happening today is a warning to the entire region. For those who appease extremists for short-term gain will find themselves their target tomorrow. And it is the people of Syria, in all their diversity, who continue to pay the price.